Well, good evening, and thanks for coming here tonight. I know that there are some specific things that you asked me to speak to, and typical police officers, we don't go anywhere by ourselves, so I brought some staff with me tonight. Sergeant Joey Delgado, who is one of the street sergeants, and Tim DeGrano, he's assigned to crime prevention. And he's actually going to be speaking for a few minutes once I just give you an overview of some of the things that you asked about. So the good news that I have for you tonight that you probably saw in the press is that last year crime dropped across the whole city by 8%, which was a very good thing. In fact, last year in 2010, our crime stats were at an all-time low. In the last, if you go look over the last 30 years. So we celebrate that as a police department because it's truly a partnership between the police department and the community that maintains a very low crime rate and continues to push crime down. Now the bad news to that crime statistics, and one of the things that was very specific in the emails that I received from this association and this group was those that apply, or the specific crimes related to burglaries and residential and commercial burglaries. Burglaries last year for 2010 were up by about 15%. So we are seeing an increase not only in our city but statewide in thefts, larcenies, burglaries, residential, and auto burglaries as well. So what I'd like to talk about a little bit is some of the general observations that I've seen in the community and the police department and some of the commitments that I've made to the people that I've spoke to since I'm new to this job. I've only been here 8 weeks. I can tell you the services that we provide in the city for the police department is you have a full service police department. We will respond to any call, answer any question if you have any concerns in the community. And in fact, we have the luxury, and it is a luxury, because you see as departments are cutting, one of the areas that most departments are cutting are in the area of prevention and intervention. And one of the things that we continue to maintain in this department, which I have a commitment to maintain, is our crime prevention unit, which actually is, has 2 officers assigned to it, and also an oversight has a sergeant assigned to it as well. And this is really important for a community that's very proactive and active, particularly in preventing crime in the community. The other thing I can tell you about the police department is we're very proactive and take a no-tolerance approach on crime. We arrest approximately 10 to 12 people per day. We take about 211 calls from the community members. Last year we instituted 2 things that were playing an important role in crime prevention and also in the way the police department operates. The first thing that we had a full year of last year is that we've implemented E911, which is a service that you can actually call now the police department from your cell phone and get directly into our communication center. So we were one of the last police departments to go online in the state with this. It was a fully funded project that's funded by the state. And the only quirk to this system is that if you're closer on the freeway and you call 911, you're still going to go into the dispatch center for CHP. So I suggest you get off the freeway and call us because we'll probably answer the phone a little bit quicker. The second thing that we did last year, or in the last 18 months, is implemented a new system for monitoring reports and report writing. And the back end to that, that's really important, is there's customized reports to help us predict crime and where crime is going to occur in the future. So this is a new component to our system which hasn't been fully functional right now. But in the next few months, we will be rolling out more information to the community on crime prevention, in your area, specific things in your area. Right now we offer, although there is time delay by a couple days, we offer free access to crimereports.com, which will tell you exactly what's going on in your community as far as crime. It'll give you maps of your areas, and it'll provide you information as a community on what's happening and where it's happening, where crime is happening in your town, in your specific area. One of the other things that I've been doing almost on a daily basis is speaking with groups just like yourselves and really learning about what your expectations are of the police department, what's working well and what's not working well, so that in the future we can build a plan to continue to improve. Specifically, the questions that I received regarding tonight were really having to do with burglaries and what's happening in the area of burglaries. Now, in the last 15 months, in this specific area, we've had approximately 100 residential and commercial burglaries. That equates to about 7 per month. But that also encompasses what we call the entire Beat 1 area, and I'll let Tim talk a little bit more about that. So it actually goes beyond your neighborhood. So the numbers in your neighborhood are a little bit lower. The other question I got asked is, what do you do with the Oakland Police Department? And our investigators work closely with the Oakland Police Department because we know our criminals cross jurisdictions. And so we work closely with them to solve crime and make arrests as well. I got asked about a program called License Look, which is a good way to document what license plates are in your community. But what we would strongly encourage that when you see a suspicious vehicle in your neighborhood, that you actually call us directly. And it's not a problem to call us directly. So the two programs can work hand in hand, where one, you can enter it into the computer when you have time, but I would encourage, if there's a suspicious vehicle, you call us immediately. We know that when burglars are in a neighborhood, they will prey on people, they will look suspicious, and we also know from doing neighborhood checks after burglaries, we know that it's often that people don't feel like that's an important thing to call the police department about. But we feel if something doesn't look right, if it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. And your beat officer is available to come look at that area. Quick question?
Would that be the 911 or the other number?
Yeah, the other number. 911, really, the basis of 911 is really for true emergencies, of life-threatening emergencies. So I would consider you calling 911 if someone was actually breaking into a home or some in-progress crime was occurring. If you have a suspicious license plate, Tim will get you the number, the non-emergency number, which you should have programmed in your phone, and just give the license plate and the information that you've received, and we'd be glad to look into that. One other question I got is regarding an address which you probably all know well, 218 Beverly, which was a home that somebody started occupying and then became a tenant somehow. And we worked with the bank to actually issue an eviction notice. And effective March 24th, they'll be evicted from the residence, and if they don't leave, they have 30 days to leave, and the sheriff will actually fully evict them physically if they don't leave 1 month later, so 30 days later. Some of the trends that we've generally been seeing is, I gave you the information about the last 1.5 years. The last component, I think, to this that the neighborhood had a question about was about speeders. And the information that we have of complaints and enforcement in the areas, we don't have a lot of information on that. And so what I would offer to you on that is I'll get a point person from the group, and we'll have the traffic unit meet with you and make sure that we get you the information on the traffic issues and what we're doing about it. Because really right now, our traffic enforcement encompasses the whole town, and I don't have anything specific to this area. Yes.
With that in mind, the speeders, we live on Reed Avenue, which is across the street from Washington School and adjacent to the park. Years ago, I wanted to try to get speed bumps, and I want to find out what's the criteria of speed bumps.
Sure.
If you're talking, and I got to find out apparently there were too many speed bumps in the area.
Sure.
Years ago. So I'm trying to kind of rationalize that.
So the city has a policy on speed bumps. Being here 8 weeks, I don't know from the top of my head. But I can just tell you on, there's 4 E's when it comes to mitigating traffic issues in the community: education, enforcement, enhancement of an area, like traffic calming. And there's another E, and I don't have it at the top of my head right now. But what we do know is that when it comes to speed bumps, I'm going to just be honest with you. We have a speed bump on, is it Dutton? Speed bumps? Right. And what happens is they work for certain speeds, but once you exceed that speed, they're not that effective. So we need a combination of using speed bumps, we need enforcement, and using that component, and then we need to continue to study it to see if its effectiveness. And so I can circle back with you on the questions on what the criteria is, and there could be an area too. There's certain areas, quite honestly, that you can't put chokers or speed bumps because the fire department won't approve it, because the big fire trucks, it causes an issue for the fire department. So I know that that's a piece that you have to have approved, and so if for some reason that area causes problems for the fire department, that's something that can't get approved. But those alternatives, you know, you think in your mind speed bumps are the way to solve it, but there's many alternatives other than just speed bumps to solve issues related to speed and traffic problems in your area. Crime prevention is a very large component to what we do in the police department. We have on any given day anywhere between, at the low point, about 10 or 11 police officers to about 20 officers. And that's for a population of 84,000 people now. And that's not a lot of people when you have things going down throughout the town. And so an important component to help us do our job is really the 84,000 residents that we have here to report crime, inform us, and so that we can respond accordingly. So we have a few minutes left, and I'm actually going to have Officer DeGrano come up and just speak for a couple of the services that we have to offer. This is a very active neighborhood group, and so some of the strategies I know you've already embraced and implemented, but there's a lot more that we can continue to do to make sure that we're reducing crime not only across the city, but in this specific area. So I'd like to call Tim up for a few minutes.